Audio check. Say something.
Something.
Okay, hopefully that will feed back. This time I actually did check all audio tracks. 111. Good. Thumbnail's good. Keeping the stream chat on my channel. 6 people already. Hello, everyone out there. All you motherfuckers out there. What's up? Hey, you definitely just got clickbaited. There's no dev stream. Nah, just kidding. There is a fucking dev stream. Why would the hell else you be here? Because, hey guys, it's John, and we are live on the War Thunder dev server 1.73, the French Air Force, and this is the SO 8000 Narval, the first top-tier premium for the French. Yeah, it's that strange pusher thing, carriers, or failed to be a carrier aircraft, but it is a wonderful-looking machine, nonetheless. Perfectly French. And now we're going to be rolling on up, taking off as I also check everything on my end. And I can barely hear the pilot, Jean-Luc Pierre, saying something in French. Yep. Let's get this sucker off the ground. Oh, bugger. Oopsie. Okay, just like a P-38 or any other plane that has twin boom, this plane in particular already is very sensitive to taking off. But upon getting off the ground, it breaks 200 miles per hour and just fucks off from the airfield, which is nice. Feels good.
Have you surrendered yet?
Somebody brings up that white flag joke again, I will murder you.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, for whoever is like Nitro Mino, it's basically a vampire with a bootleg vampire without a jet engine. Actually, it has a German-built or German-designed engine improved by the French. And of course, because hey, look, we have all these German aircraft with their 20mm cannons. They're sitting around. Let's just take all of those 20mm cannons and stick them in the nose. 6 of them. 6. MG-151s. That hurt. That will hurt. You literally would not want to head on this sucker. Let's just make that very clear. And also I just noticed that it has a butt-ton of ammo. That is a lot of ammo in this thing. So, once again, as maybe the title has implied, this server just popped up within the hour. So a lot of this stuff is brand new to me and brand new to you guys. I would imagine that the other bigger YouTubers going around, like Michael's Boom and Many Miles Away, two very good acquaintances of mine, will be doing their respective streams later on. For now, I am going to actually be spreading. Yep, and I am joined here with my friend, the magnificent Speedle, murderer of all things in the RBT5. So if you want to watch RBT5's destroy everything in War Thunder, go check out his channel if you so wish.
Oh,
yep,
come on over.
Come on over. Get a chance to see RBT5 destroy everyone. And meanwhile, I am dropping the live stream link in possibly every channel where I can get away with it right now.
I can help with that.
Yeah. Dropping. Yep, so I'm going to keep flying this thing around, and I guess while I'm typing in these things, I'm going to keep an eye on the questions in my chats now. Yeah, for going back, yeah, this thing was supposed to be a carrier aircraft, but it failed its carrier trial, so it's a land-based naval aircraft, if it were to have actually gone into service, but it didn't. The one thing that I do know right off the top of my head is that the aircraft doesn't rely on normal ailerons. It's actually a lot like it uses spoilerons, just like the Northrop P-61 in the US tree. So you see those little, fillets that keep coming up. Those are what's getting your plane to roll around It's not too bad at low altitude, but I would treat this thing like a P-47. You really wouldn't want to be turn fighting at low altitude in the sky. Just boom and zoom. You'll be very fine with this thing. So let's get a look inside the cockpit as well. Spacey enough. And as usual, the French pilot appears to be shirtless under his jumpsuit. I don't know what it.
There's apparently new wyvern sounds.
Yep. Wait, that's in German. Wait, what the fuck is a German gun sight doing in a French aircraft? Huh? Say what? Gaijin! Well, probably because maybe the French just don't have good gun sights at the time. That might be the reason. But, as usual, we're going to try to attempt to land this aircraft in the most unfashionable way. First, by breaking all the flaps off. Oh boy. Oh boy. Those are all the flaps.
The wyvern is no longer awful to listen to.
Ooh, we will check that out a little bit later. Okay. But I guess now for now, we're going to make a very awful landing. Whoops. Whoopsie. Oh, and the game resets me immediately with a brand new plane, but we don't care about it. So I think we've gathered a bunch of people. It will be discarded.
Lost
it will be discarded. Lost the time forevermore. It's said.
Press F.
I guess. Let's see. Where else am I gonna drop this fucking link? Where the fuck else am I dropping it? I think I'm just. You know what? Fuck it. We're not dropping any more links. We're gonna focus on the brand new tree. And as I know it right now, I don't think there are dev server notes yet. I'm gonna check now. Oh, never mind. Maybe. Okay, so I have it brought from a blog, not a real one. Before we go to the French, because there's gonna be a lot of talking about French stuff, let's talk about very quickly, according to the game, some ground vehicles, and I guess many miles away we'll cover those even more. First and foremost, with the Germans, according to the ArmoredPatrol.com's patch server notes that they just released, I think like 6 minutes ago, according to Google. At the time of this, first tier 6 vehicle, second tier 6 vehicle for the Germans is the Big Light Panzer 57. Anybody who's Bagel Panzer. Oh, it's this guy. Yeah, the Bagel Panzer. If you played Armored Warfare, you'll be intimately familiar with this guy. So let's see. We're gonna start.
Still do.
Yeah, probably. So 57mm Bofors L70 Mark I cannon with 96 rounds of ammunition, 1 tow missile ATGM, one tow launcher, 6 missiles on board, and 5,000 rounds of MG3A1 rounds for destroying silly Russian flak trucks that seem to get up-tiered into your matches for absolutely no reason at all. Not my problem. And probably gonna sideways post thing window. There we go. So I can continue seeing the chat on my second monitor and see your great questions. Nitro Mino, Jetty or Riot? Jetty? What Jetty? Whatever. So, Bagel Panzer is fuck all for armor. So you definitely don't want to be charging headlong into any battle with it. And X-Ray, so the commander slash gun aimer, I suppose. Or no, it's not even no, there's just the gunner and the commander. And auto-loading Bofors, by the way. And the 2 guys in the back who just kind of chill out with a radiator behind their back. I don't know. And then the driver. However, you do have the concession that your engine and transmission are in front of the vehicle. So your gunner, as long as they don't somehow penetrate the armor slope in front of the... Oh, wait. No, you're going to get pinned by the gun. You're going to get pinned by anything that hits you right there.
Wait, if you test fly the French aircraft, Just as you're loading in, look at the name of the town that you load into.
We'll check that again in a moment. Speed.
Yeah, just make sure you do.
Check.
I approve of it.
Yep. So this is that's the Baglet Panzer. And so on the other hand, the USSR, they don't actually get a new tank. The BMP-1 just gets an additional modification, which makes it the BMP-1P. And it changes its armament to, what is it? The loading mechanism on the BMP-1 is absent. The gun is loaded manually by the gunner. Eh. Oh, wow. That sucks. Okay. Well, I guess we don't talk about that then. Then, on the other hand, the Japanese ground forces do get the Hori production vehicle. So if you guys have already had the Pro-Re prototype, say hello to the Hori production vehicle, which I don't... Okay, so the 105mm Type 5 cannon, armor plate, front armor plate is 120mm thickness with 279 effective, 225 flat armor around the gun, though there is a small rectangular segment around the gun that's 175. I'm assuming this section might cause issues. I kind of could tell there's going to be issues here when the shell hits just in between, and then somebody's going to scream bullshit, how did they get penned when they clearly hit the middle of the plate. I'm not the greatest tanker in the world. 200mm there. It's basically the Emperor Hirohito's bunker. The Tojo bunker, actually. The real Tojo bunker, not the prototype Tojo bunker. And, of course, you have your two driver guys, the engine in the middle, all your ammunition, and the crew just chilling out in the back. And with the power of NVIDIA and Zell, we can go take a look inside the inside the actual interior, which, unlike most vehicles that had burned out interiors when you die, they're just kind of already modeled there. The interior of the Hori is actually in perfect condition because the roof actually opens, is actually hinged whenever the tank gun is depressed in elevation, of which the gun itself has a depression of -10, which is not bad, and a elevation of 20, 11-second reload. Yeah, its current BR is 6.7, which, yeah, I think that will work for a vehicle like this. If you can make the Ferdinand work, then I can't see why this thing won't work. It has the Type 2 APHE shell with, at practical distance of 500 meters against 90mm of armor, 209mm of penetration, and then an experimental high explosive shell with about 30mm of penetration at any distance, and let's see, 2.5 kilograms of high explosive TNT. And there's that. Then, strangely, the Italians have a tank as well. Are you fucking serious? This is all they have. This is literally all they have for tanks. What?
Wait, what do they have?
They have tanks. Surprise! The Italians have tanks.
Tanks or tank?
Tanks. 2 tanks. They're both bundles. First one is the P-40 Leoncello. And no, not the P-40 the aircraft, P-40 the tank, which has a 75mm and a Solo 75L 34 cannon and an 8mm Beretta Mod 38 machine gun. 2 of them. One on the roof and one as coaxial. Armor on the vehicle. Meh. 50mm thickness. Yeah, a lot of people, you're gonna be punished pretty quickly.
Wait, so this means you can technically up tier this thing enormously, go cap a zone, and then take out the hydro rockets.
Okay, I can already see an issue with having these 2 vehicles. That means rip all allied tankers who have to suddenly deal with the G91 and its hydras. Also,
That's
rip the enemy team's aircraft as well, because nobody will catch the fucker after it kills whatever close air support you can get.
Gaijin, you sure you thought this one through?
You sure about it, Gaijin? That's a bit fast for it, but okay. But hey, I know you guys are here for something else, but let me finish off with the Italians here with the tier 4 premium. The A26 M26. Hey, basically it's an M26 in the service of the Italians. Okay, whoop de fucking do. We're not going into detail about this. Okay, and now time for whatever you all waiting for. Yes, the suspense is great. We're looking at the Italians again. Just kidding. Nope, we are looking
Spider-Man 2 pizza theme intensifies. Yes.
Now, we are looking at the French, starting off with the 2 reserve vehicles available to the French. The D371 and D373, which are essentially the same vehicle, as usual with any reserve tier aircraft. So let's, I guess, give these guys a try. And this is really the first true low tier aircraft that is a parasol wing, which apparently has nothing to do with umbrellas for some reason. It's just basically it's a wing suspended on top of the cockpit instead of either below the cockpit, low wing monoplane, or mid wing like some other monoplanes, I guess.
It's a tube with a manta ray strap to it.
Yep, basically it. What he said. So this little sucker, let's see how this guy flies around. Holy shit, the engine sound. That sounds like a plane.
Is one of these things naval and then the other one isn't? Because one of them has okay, so it's like Nimrod and the Fury.
Oh, I can see. Speed, you fuck. Really? Really? Just because? Man, do you have any of said beer with you right now?
No. I do not. I can change that though.
Maybe, but I'm just gonna crack open this bottle of iced tea because, you know, I'm a southerner in the US. That's good. Now then, back to the French. So for a monoplane, fairly maneuverable. Pretty good roll rate. Cockpit-wise, good all-around view in the cockpit. Front view's not too bad. I've seen worse for a interwar aircraft in terms of forward view. You can look down to your side pretty well as well. So for all you sim pilots out there, eat it out. The altimeter is located above the pilot's hand, which is kind of weird. And then some other meter. I don't know exactly. I guess that's speed. Well, not magnificent speed, but airspeed. And if I'm correct... Oh yeah, and as a thing about French aircraft, if you don't already know, with the French, when it comes to your throttles, pushing forward will actually cause the engine to go lower. The French like to pull back to up the throttle on their aircraft, and if you really want to crank it, you just pull on it, on the throttle. Yes. Now, where is the ground target that's usually present? Oh, there it is. Definitely a very maneuverable vehicle. For an air vehicle, this feels very maneuverable, very nice. Probably the strangest looking monoplane for early tiers, but I would somewhat, for some reason, I would rely on this more than the P-26P shooter, for some reason. I don't know. It's just thinking about it, that the P-26 is kind of ugly when you really think about it. This thing, for what it is actually pretty graceful. And not gonna do it. Oh, at least it kills whatever's on the ground. So with that out of the way, besides the magnificently loud engine sounds. Yep, and of course, Mr. Okay, what is those racist bastards? Says Flemmy Vandersteen. And I swear to God, whoever says, whoever else makes a white flag joke, fuck off. And I think all the any French viewers who find this stream are probably going to tell you fuck off too. So, of course, at the early tiers, obviously, like any other nation, there's going to be a low tier premium. What is it? Aces aircraft, and this is Palea's D510, which, if anybody's seen the shooting range from last week, if I'm right, they talked about these aircraft. Probably hinted, hey, it's coming in the game. So the short story was that Mr. D, we can just leave it at that, I guess. French aircraft designer known as Mr. D.
Dinkelberg.
Dinkelberg! Are you fucking serious, man?
Dinkelberg.
Sorry,
I live for the meme life.
You memeing motherfucker. If you want, if there anybody else wants to make a meme, the shirt I'm wearing right now is from CNR Snow. It Gott mit uns. Yes, German gun. So Luke stocked Luger and a stocked C96. Hi, Othais. If you're not, of course you wouldn't be watching this. He's busy going across the country getting machine gun footage again. So there's that. So the French decided, this guy basically said, hey, I am the only person who can make good parasol winged fighter aircraft for the French. And then he comes out with, well, his monoplanes, which all feature, which he was the first person to figure out successfully how to put a cannon through the nose of an engine, through an inline engine, and to fire down the nose, which everybody knows will everybody knows this significantly increases your accuracy in terms of being firing. And of course, we know two other warring nations in this game decided, hey, that's a great idea, and just outright stole it. Well, maybe not so much the Russians. They kind of, well, the Russians took the engines and the concept, but we all know that Russian engines suck ass. I would imagine that the French engines will actually fare better in this game than the Russian counterparts. So now we get to move on to checking out the one variant of the D371 that was shown off a lot, which is still available right now in pre-order as a bundle, and as the D371 HS9, which is the typical the true manta ray with, you know, they decided, fuck all, we're gonna get rid of these pussy ass machine guns and put two 20mm Hispano cannons in it.
With 30 shots each.
So a couple seconds of fire, I guess.
Yeah. But it's manly fire, damn it.
Manly fire, damn it. I would say if you're flying this around, go look for the nearest heavy, anything larger than a fighter, go find it and shoot it down and make it cry. And then return to base. Rinse and repeat. It's like following French cooking recipe. Or baguettes. Very simple. But it is an art form to do it properly. Yes. So, this big sucker. Okay, that's a different cannon sound. That's not your typical...
Yeah, they're the old Hispano ones, or the Hispano Mark 1 ones. From a long time ago, all Hispanos sounded like that.
Yep. So they brought it back just for French. That's very interesting. And
yeah, I think they remained on the D521 and 20. That sound. I think the only other plane to have them was the Spitfire Mark 2B.
Yep. So let's see. Checking in. We are 25 minutes in, and there are 30 plus people watching this. Yay. I'm famous, Mom. No, just kidding. Love all of you guys. So let's see. Let's get a look at the aircraft here. I'm not gonna waste 10,000 golden eagles just yet on stuff. So a lot of this is just kind of a preview, looking at it. If there's something that you guys really want me to check out, I will attempt to, but I don't know how far the golden eagles will go. So this is the Farman 2222. Okay. Okay, game. That's great. Which is just equipped with 3 7.5 machine guns. And is a very derpy looking aircraft. And
It's beautiful, damn it.
it's beautiful. It's beautifully
It's nothing but pure art.
Yep, it looks like just an enlarged. It looks like an enlarged 371. In my opinion. And is that let's make push pull bomber. Okay, we're never doing that French accent again. I am so sorry.
Doing your 335 prototype right here.
Yep. So we got push pull.
And its nose looks like a wedge. A wedge.
It
of
looks
cheese.
like if the engines go out, the top of the aircraft will suddenly inflate a balloon and it becomes a zeppelin.
Oh, yeah, I could see that happening.
Yep. So this guy here, the main armament when you first get it starts with 52 50-kilogram bombs. Damn. 52 50-kilogram bombs. Imagine that thing flying over a low tier. Imagine a low tier tank match and suddenly this thing just quite literally fucking carpet bombs everything on the ground, and everything on the ground just happens to have no armor at all. That's gonna hurt. So second loadout is 7 100 number 1 bombs and 5 200 number 1 bombs. French naming nomenclature. I'm already kind of like, what the fuck does this mean? This is why it's called an impromptu server. Look, I don't know anything. I'm just looking at these things and being just as surprised as you guys. So 82 millimeters of armor penetration within a 2-meter radius with the 100 kilogram bombs, and 101 millimeters of penetration in a 5-meter radius with the other bomb. 4 500 number 2 bombs with 120 millimeters of high explosive penetration in a 13-meter radius, and 100 number 7s and 10 200s. Okay. So that seems like a pretty good bomb load, all things considered, at its tier. But of course, this comes at a cost as being slow as fuck and only having 3 shitty machine guns to cover you. So I suggest you have good fighter cover to keep your French baguette air delivery system alive. So after that, I guess this is the point in time where we're going to actually begin going down the fighter line and attempting to grab as many aircraft as possible with Golden Eagles. Let's take a look at the 714 Cauldron, if I'm right, which was essentially a racing plane outfitted with machine guns and landing gear, as the French had a serious, kind of before everyone else, they had the idea of making light fighters because they saw a trend that would basically continue well after the war and would be solved in a similar manner later on by Americans when we started seeing, bigger, heavier aircraft, especially going to the jet age. The difference between a Northrop Freedom Fighter and a Republic F-105 Thunder Chief. Yeah, that's what we're thinking of right now. But all the way back before World War II, the French were already seeing this trend of fighter aircraft becoming bigger and heavier in order to accommodate more powerful engines. Some French designers attempted to create light fighters by using lighter engines, but building a just as light airframe around the engine to get the maximum performance they can. So that's why a lot of early French fighter planes are kind of small, as it is. So looking at this thing though, it's at 1.7. It's what is it? Its performance seems on paper seems a little lacking, maybe for 1.7. I don't know. Haven't really played at the low tiers in a while. Top speed, 278 miles per hour at about 4,000 meters. So sue me that I'm using two different styles of measurement. Turn time of 22 seconds and a rate of climb 6.4 meters per second. Feel like it probably turn better than it seems, but I guess we're gonna get a quick look at an aircraft that we can fly out is the other reserve aircraft, and that is the D500, which is essentially that D510, except it has two 7.5 machine guns firing through the propeller, so fire interrupter in there. And this was the other aircraft that Diatween. Oh god, I just need to stop pronouncing French names. French names. So this was the aircraft that came out before the D510. And then we're going to kind of move down to other aircraft in the tree, the NC-223.3, which is what the... Okay, so this aircraft has... It looks like the Farman, except it has two inline engines in a push-pull configuration. Can hit 230 miles per hour, and this the French apparently said, "Fuck it, we're gonna give it a 20mm cannon as a top turret at 2.0." Why?
Oh
Well, that escalated very quickly. Sure, this thing may be a slow barge, but two 20mm cannons at 2.0 as turrets. Well, that escalated very quickly.
Talking Pierre, talking Gaijin into giving him a 20 mil.
Yep, and so it's
It is fine, I will only use it on the weekends.
Blame the Irishman. He did the shitty French accent, not me.
I don't care.
Okay, so
I'm
it carries
safe
52.
from my island from all the Frenchies.
Yep. But then you have the issue of Northern Ireland, but that's another thing entirely.
Josh.
So 5250 bombs of 58 kilograms, I'm sorry, or mass 58 kilograms, but I guess 50 kilograms of nominally 50 kilograms. And then similar loadouts to the last one, except it carries a little bit more bomb. But it doesn't get to carry the ridiculous 500 kilogram or 500 number whatever bomb that was. So that's interesting. Moving down from that tier, there's the aircraft that was also talked about in the last dev stream, no, shooting range, the D501, which was the first aircraft, the first aircraft to put a a cannon or a gun in general firing through the nose of the propeller. As you can see, the very crudely made prop hole thing in the prop with no propeller hub. Yes, this thing literally looks like a prototype that was just rolled out from somebody's farm hangar for a test run.
Seems legit.
Seems legit. And now we're moving down the tier 1 to the Potez 630, which is the first French attacker aircraft we'll see. And essentially, it's a Beaufighter and a Bf-110 and a Peshka that all had a weird French orgy in classic French fashion and came out with this thing.
Too much champagne. What happened? French plane appears. Oh no.
Yep. And it is equipped with just two 20mm cannons with 180 rounds total. And
just two? That's not
just
a lot.
two.
Not a lot for 2.0 BR. Oh, sorry, 1.7. Where are my manners?
Yep. And
French have a lot of firepower.
Yeah, that's noticeable. It's really good, though. At least in their attacker range. So far, the French fighters are just stuck with 7.5s. Though, if it's anything like British 7.7s, silly things will happen and find out that they just start cutting wings and stuff off. Because Gaijingos.
Even more memey because they're the smallest guns in the game.
Yep. So this aircraft here, you have Jean-Luc Pierre and his gunner Remy. Yes, we're just gonna call him Remy.
Remy.
Remy. The two cannons, which apparently just have a bigger drum attached to them, a 90-round drum. Ooh. Instead of a 60-round drum. And very long barrels, noticeably, for a 20mm cannon. Holy shit. Top speed of 246 miles per hour at 4,000 meters. 6.5 meter climb rate and 24.3 turn rate. So that apparently means this and the Cauldron can climb at about the same rate. Stock. Well, at least all the French aircraft will get all up into the sky on time and at the same time, apparently. And then its bomber partner, which is the Potez 633, only armed with a single 7.5mm machine gun. So this is basically a doe at that point. But I would imagine that it carries a decent bomb load, 8 50-kilogram bombs, 2 100 number ones, or 2 200 number ones. And I absolutely neglected to check the bomb load on the 630, which is it doesn't have a bomb load, so there is that. Tier 2. Here we go for Tier 2. Yeah, the green camel looks kind of weird. Yep. And K Riot, I'm not gonna butcher your last name on here. We will get to Tier 5 as soon as I can. And now the MS-410, which is a fairly well-known French aircraft. It was that and the D520 were both prominent French fighters in the war. And this thing flew for both Vichy France and the Free French and the Finns, who took this particular aircraft and said, fuck it, we're going to put a Russian Klimov engine from a Lag and put it in there and made the Boogeyman 410. At least that's whatever the actual name of the aircraft from Finnish was known. And that's shit from right off the top of my head. 278 miles per hour at 4,000 meters. Turning time of 21.9 seconds with a 9.4 meters per second climb rate at 2.0. And this is the first time we see the classic French loadout of the single 20mm cannon firing through the nose and 4 7.5mm machine guns. Kind of an odd looking duck, all things considered. And just like the Italians, the French proudly put the model of the aircraft on the tail. Interesting. I don't know why is it the French and the Italians?
It doesn't have a funky logo though.
Yeah, it doesn't have a funky logo on it, but why do the French and the Italians just like proudly putting the model of the aircraft on there? Wouldn't that just make it easier for intelligence to figure out what it is? Like enemy intelligence to figure out what it is by name.
Something just got to be sacrificed for perfection.
Yep.
Like efficiency, which then is also not perfection. It doesn't matter.
Yep. So after that, in the attacker line, we go to the Potez 631, which was one of the recent dev blogs. Essentially, it gets an additional 6 7.5mm machine guns in wing-mounted wing-mounted gondolas. 244 miles per hour at 4,000 meters with a 23.6 per second turn rate in a flat circle, 4.2 meters per second climb rate. And it does actually carry a bomb load of 2 100 number 1 bombs, which basically you could just use those to say fuck you whenever somebody kills you out of your French tank, which is, from my sources, is going to be the next patch. Even though the Italians somehow said, fuck it, we want to be first.
They always
I don't know. They always find the way. God damn Italians! I love the Italian planes, though. Italian tanks? I don't know. That'll be interesting. For the French, next in their bomber line is the MB714A3. So what we're looking at, it looks like an IL. It looks like a very straight. It's like an IL-4 in a Peshka had a baby. It has the tail end of a Peshka or Ur-2's tail, and then the nose in front of a IL-4 bomber. Something like that. It's interesting looking bomber though, for what it is. 7.5mm machine guns. It gets 2 of them. Offensive, apparently. Where the fuck are they though? Oh, in the wings. That is a very wide convergence. I don't think you're going to be killing anything with those. With that, you got a 7.5mm machine guns. You got 3 of them. In times 3 in a turret. Where is that turret? Oh. We're gonna just take a quick zoom in and cheat here. So AMD graphics card people, eat your heart out when I can actually go do this. Unlike you guys. Yeah. So the the triple turret on the bottom doesn't rotate. I guess it has some elevation, so basically anybody flying directly behind you will get punished with 3 7.5mm machine gun fire. That's a really interesting turret. And then we have what looks like a very weird and bastardized Lewis gun. Twin Lewis gun thing on the back. I need to research the armament more. Très Impromptu. As we will go from there.
What in the world is the A35B?
Yep. So bomb load on this guy is shit. Literally shit. All it gets is 8 GAN-MN50 bombs, which are actually apparently worse than the previous 50-kilogram bombs. So basically, fast attack aircraft, kind of. I don't know. I don't know. Well, it is the dev server, so I will make that. I have to make the obligatory statement that things are subject to change, and things might change later on the server when it goes live. And now moving down to the second row of tier 2, and we are now 43 minutes into this. Dear Lord, this is going to be a long stream. Next aircraft is the VG-33C1 with a... Of course, I'm not even going to talk about the armament unless it changes. So the happy smiley face aircraft, it actually looks like a fighter. It kind of looks like a... It looks like a BF-109 went on Slim Fast. Yeah, very, very rounded off aircraft. Very sleek, very aerodynamic. It looks a lot more modern than the previous fighter, all things considered. 325 miles per hour with a 10.4 meter climb rate and its tighter turning circle. And all measurements or all stat card readings are stock as it is. And according to Logan Bendias, I totally butchered your last name somehow. I am so sorry. A35 is the Volti Vengeance. And if I remember reading, yeah, they basically just sold him to the French because the Americans didn't want him. And I guess that will be the next aircraft we look at. The A35B. Totally French, right? Nope, it's American. But it's a very interesting American aircraft.
Like everything else in the tree there. That is just a copy from the American tree.
Well, not entirely a copy. But
not the Sky Raider actually.
Not the Sky Raider, but that Sky Raider, we'll talk about that one later. Okay, spoiling bastard.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll just shut up then.
No, you can keep talking. Okay, so A35B is the Volti Vengeance. It was a army dive bomber. or a dive bomber that the Volti company wanted to see in American service, but the Americans were like, fuck that, we don't want it. They gave it to the French. At 3.3 in rank 2, has very promising armament, 650 caliber machine guns, and a single 50 caliber in the rear as a turret. Carries, I guess, its stock loadout is 2 500-pound Freedom bombs and 250-pound Freedom bombs. It can carry 4 500-pounders, or if you just really want to fuck with that one Tiger tank on the ground over the fucker who killed you, 1,000-pound bomb. And of course, the fact of the matter that it carries 650 cals means, yeah, anything that it finds, anything unfortunate enough to get this thing on its tail will probably get pilot sniped somehow or set on fire. Not my problem at that point. But interestingly enough, that's an aircraft that won't be in an American tree simply because, hey, we Americans didn't use it. And then finally, the last French bomber to look at is the LEO, or Leo 451 early variant, which is already looking really interesting. Yep. So let's see. Its armament is 1 Mac 1934, which is the 7.5mm machine gun. I haven't actually been talking about it very much in terms. If you have the D520 or the D521 premiums in the British tree, you'll be very familiar with these machine guns. It gets a rear turret with 1 7.5mm machine gun, and it can carry 16 50-kilogram bombs stock. And its loadout is 7 100 number ones. Nope. Let's see. Or 1 100 number one and 6 200 number ones, or 2 500 number twos, and let's see. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's mixed armor. That is a really weird bomb loadout. 2 500 kilograms, 2 100 kilogram, and 4 200 kilograms. And I thought the P-47's armament, max bomb load, was just ridiculous. You know, 10 Holy Moseses, 2 1,000-pound stones, and a 500-pound stone just for shits and giggles. Quote. I quote myself. I'm an asshole.
You pretentious cunt.
Oh well. So 283 miles per hour at 6,200 meters. Climb rate there, and a kind of a wider turning radius for a twin engine bomber. The interesting part is that this gondola right below where the pilot sits, that looks very interesting. So what does this look like? So you have Jean-Pierre and Remy and their 2 drunken friends, I guess the gunner or bomb aimer, and then the other gunner who's just kind of crouched in this bathtub under the bomber, or under the cockpit. Interesting. The French like long, hard baguettes. I petition you replace bomb with baguette for now on. Your petition has been read and approved, and we shall keep going. So now, of course, everybody's well-known and favorite aircraft in a brand new HD model. By that, the D520. All of you are intimately familiar with this aircraft.
Okay,
20mm cannon.
British tree as well. Okay, it's still in the British tree as well.
It's in the British tree if you already have it, and then of course there's the D521, though that's a question to be answered in just a moment. 321 miles per hour stock, 5,000 meters, 21.7 meter or second turn time with a 7.3 meter per second climb rate. It's kind of, the French aircraft are kind of interesting, being with the light fighter concept, all things considered. And this is I guess, one of the iconic French fighter aircraft. This little thing flying around trying to desperately hold off whatever the Germans coming in full force at them. And then in the middle tree, which I assume is basically like the combination of the it's essentially their, I guess, attacker slash French naval aviation tree. I don't know how to say it better than that. So after that, aircraft, a French Seagull. Okay, I guess we don't need any explanations for that. And then, of course, more French aircraft, MB 162, and, well, shit, they get a 4-engine bomber. Wow. A 4-engine bomber.
I didn't even know they made any of them.
Well, this is another disclaimer. A lot of the French aircraft in the tree were prototypes that were built, tested, and they were test flown, but they, of course, obviously never got to see service because capitulation. And from what I've read, they had to go to literally, I think, Helsinki and Kosovo, or not Kosovo, somewhere. They went basically all over Europe other than France to find documents relating to French aircraft because there's barely any. And I guess this is the first time for me actually ever seeing this aircraft or hearing of it. So we're going to, new experiences for me and you, the viewer. So we got two 20mm cannons in turrets, top and bottom. Well, that's the first time we've seen one at the 4.0 battle rating, which is not bad for 4.0. And two sideways facing 75mm cannon, or 7.5mm machine guns. Dear God, if somebody put cannons as defensive armament on a bomber. Tank cannons, essentially. Ugh. 286 miles per hour at 5,000 meters. And its bomb loadout starts out with a healthy dose of 600 kilogram and 6 200 kilogram bombs apiece, or 4 500 kilogram bombs. And so I would say that's not the heaviest armament out there, but I guess good enough. Of course, it's just all about how in practice. Looking at this thing kind of looks like a midget GAN1. Literally a midget GAN1, complete with 20mm cannons. I could kind of see that resemblance there. A moldy Focke-Wulf 200.
Yep.
That's great. 500 kilogram baguettes.
Seems legit.
God damn it, I forgot. I'm so sorry. Okay,
you
next
promised
up.
one thing.
I fucked up. I know.
Why is there a harpoon on the front of the heavy bomber as well?
That's probably that's the picometer. Whatever the air, it's basically the airspeed thing. Instrument tool. Right. God.
Can't wait to ram someone with that.
Yep. So the Bloch 157, which is the first, I guess, serious French-made and French-designed fighter that we're going to be seeing, has a top speed of 412 miles per hour at sea level. Interesting. Maximum altitude of 9,000 meters. Turn time of 20 seconds with a rate of climb of 10 seconds, so not terribly bad. And it comes with only 120 rounds total of Hispano. So you got 120 baguettes to fire at your opponent. Make them count. And then, of course, in the meanwhile, in boring middle tree that I guess a lot of Warthog players are going to look at and, scream, "Free!" and completely avoid. Unless they want to get to the end of that tree. F6, F5. Yeah, whatever. And then F6, F5N. Whatever. I guess. Now, continuing on to Tier 4. Yep, we're getting there. Boys and girls, we're going to get there to Tier 5. For the French, the VB10C1.
This thing looks beautiful.
Yep. In a really weird moldy green camo.
I love it.
Yep, it's beautiful. And the first really serious French fighter. For real. I promise. Max speed of 373 miles per hour at sea level.
Wait, it's slower. It's slower than the Blotch.
But it carries a buck ton more ammo. With Hispano 404 cannons, 600 rounds, so that means something like 150 per gun, I think.
It's 4.3. All right.
Yeah, 4.3 battle rating. Don't think it carries.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. 19 point. Holy Jesus fucking Christ! The climb rate stock is a bit much. 19.4.
Okay, it might be fast, but it'll be above you.
It may not be a great turner, but it's going to be above you to fuck you.
Yeah.
And by the way, it has 2 engines. You have one in the front and one in the back, each driving one of the propellers. Hence why it looks so weird and ugly.
It's not just a double prop.
Nope, it's 2 engines. That's a very weird aircraft, by all means. But I think this will probably be pretty good in the air. And then after that, very interestingly enough, is the VB-10-2, which... What the fuck?
It's just more guns. More guns.
The fuck? Gaijin, why?
That's a lot of guns.
It's beautiful. It's
beautiful.
My. 373
Screw the moldy.
It's
not, this one isn't moldy either. I want this one.
What is this?
I want the P-47 of destruction.
What is this? It's like Destiny and I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2 recently, which is why for all of you subscribers out there, I have been very slow on getting the next how-to guide, which will be the Messerschmitt 262, aka How to Jet Fighter, you prop chalky. Yes. Going back onto topic. Holy shit, the amount of guns on board. So, in addition to the 4 Hispano 404s, you get a set, a good old American set of 50 caliber Freedom launchers on board. So, rip anything that goes head on with you. Period.
This thing literally has the firepower of a Mustang and then an additional 420s. It's a Spitfire and a Mustang put together, and like a Griffin Spitfire. This thing is beautiful. Oh my god!
It has the climb rate of a Spitfire and the maneuverability of a P-47 on paper. Remember, on paper.
And the firepower of both of them.
Well, almost
combined.
Combined. So.
Oh, don't get technical with me.
Yeah. Well, 4.7. That seems a 4.7 Gaijin. Well,
I mean, remember, it's not that fast. That's the only thing that it doesn't seem to have.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we did preview this aircraft at the beginning. Of course, if you just really want to be an annoying fuck to the enemy team, you fly the Narval, which is, of course, being French, this aside, we just take these canons and put it on plane. 6 MG-151 cannons with 1,500 rounds of ammo. So, yeah, truly do not go head on with this fucker. You will die. Even if you kill him, you will die.
Oh, yeah, no, not a good idea.
Not a good
idea.
Definitely,
not doctor's recommendation for 5 simple steps of living.
5 simple steps of living. And this thing does come with Marta T-10 rockets, 8 of them, so definitely not HVARs, and more rockets. With ridiculous amounts of the second pair of rockets having ridiculous penetration. Basically, anything you hit is dead.
My!
These rockets! What is the heat? Oh, it's a fucking heat rocket. That's why. Holy Jesus!
Oh,
well, imagine when the French tanks arrive. Rip German team. Rip.
Yeah, these last most recent 2 nations are just gonna hurt each other.
They're just gonna hurt each other. Imagine when the French and Italians get onto the battlefields of Korea.
Yeah, kids, you were complaining about the Wyvern. Just give it a minute.
I don't think the British have good enough rockets to beat that out.
Guys, the Wyvern and the P-47 are OP. Italy and France, hold my beer.
In both France. Meanwhile, let's see. Moving over, boring 82. American aircraft, whatever. Boring other American aircraft, whatever. Wait, F8, F1B. Yeah, it's a boring American aircraft, whatever. But the one that's more interesting to all of us, which is kind of annoying for us Americans, the 84NA. Yes, it's the one with the 4 cannons, not just 2. And I would imagine this would be a kind of like the Vietnam War era type thing, simply because it has the 4 cannons and its armaments loadout comes
It
with.
also has the OP rockets.
Whoa!
That's a lot of armament.
Jesus Christ! How? Okay, so let's see. Let's sort this out here. No, we're not even gonna try to sort this out. That's just a lot of fucking armament. Jesus, French and American ordnance. Holy Jesus
it's got the H-Fars.
Christ.
It can carry a torpedo with H-Fars. It can carry Tiny Tims. It can carry the T-10s with the ridiculous pen, as well as 2,000 or 1,000-pound bombs. Oh my!
Speed, just stop. We get the point now. Okay, a lot of American pilots out there. You are all steaming in your jumpsuits, I'd imagine. I'm a little bit steaming, but I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? Holy Jesus, that's a lot of armament options. So
the old AD2 just became dead to a lot of people.
Yep, just dead. Completely dead in the water. And finally, after my throat is now becoming very, very sore, after running through, what is it now? According to this, 52 people now watching and an hour in to this. 1 hour later, we are finally at Tier 5, the French jets, which are all French, I promise.
100% guarantee.
100% guarantee. Or your Patreon money back, even though I don't have a Patreon just yet. That will wait for November. I'll have something about that. So now we're looking at the ND 4050B or 450B or oregano. I'll just call it the oregano. Giant spice shaker. Giant French spice shaker of the sky. Has a max speed of 487 miles per hour stock at 4,500 meters, 13.9 meter climb rate, and a 25.9 meter turn rate. Comes with 500 rounds of M50 cannon ammo, which the cannons are located below the pilot. So right off the bat, seems like it basically looks like a MiG, kind of. Kind of. It's a weird looking.
Its fuselage looks like a Yak 30.
Kind of, yeah. Except it actually has 20mm cannons, which I would imagine are going to be a lot better than a 37 and two 23mm. Sure, it's nice to hit somebody with the 37, but when your opponent has faster firing cannons and can just fuck you at will, is it really worth having the 37? And of course, this early aircraft is capable of being a strike fighter with a pretty good loadout of 2 500-pound bombs, 2 1,000-pound bombs, 16 of the standard rockets, I guess high explosive rockets, and of course 16 of the fuck you and your everything rockets. That's a lot. So that's a very interesting jet to look at. And then
no tiers safe.
And then now the MD 450 450B Gaijin. Wait, what? There seems to be an issue. Cue the X-Files theme right about now.
Oh my!
Well, this is why it's a dev server, guys.
Hey, France, did you find some Nazi technology that you want to share with us? No. No. What's he talking about? The anti-gravity? No. Shut up, Pierre.
Oh, this is why, again, a disclaimer to be made. It is a dev server. Things will be fixed. So this is a glaring bug that will need to be fixed. But this is not the first time we've seen floating shit. Remember the time when the Seafire's tail hooks were just completely bugged out? And that was actually in the game for a while.
Yeah, you could fly around with a tail hook following you.
Okay, let's look at our comment list. Let's see. The French have telekinetic powers from Captain Magma. French wizardry. Russia looks at oregano, then looks at Mig. Mig then says, "I can explain." Can Angelo just start a running gag comic with a jet aircraft that's trying to, have its own successors, and then just weird things happen, just like the poor Panzer IV that just can't get lucky. So after that, so 487 miles per hour, so a little bit faster. Has a lot of wing fuel tanks and the same gun armament overall.
Are they wing fuel tanks?
Fuel tanks in the wings, but I think the ones
Oh,
are supposed to be attached to the aircraft are meant to be
they're rocket pods, aren't they?
telekinesis pods. Yes, we'll talk about the telekinesis pods later, but for now
they've got something in them, but that's too advanced for us.
Yep. So, and this will be the first one with oh shit. Oh shit.
It was at this mere moment that he noticed.
Yeah, the French we're gonna totally forget the fact that the French also have a rocket pod system as well, though of course this early version is not heat head, it's just TNT. However, of course, it still gets the apparently glorious French anti-tank rockets. Things to note that high-tier French tanks will have a severe focus toward heat rounds early on. For some reason. That will be for Miles to investigate. I will leave him that, because I'm not investigating French tanks. Though I will do a dev stream on that, just to look at them. At that point. But, so, I guess that's the attacker variant, which is just really another jet fighter. All things considered. And then the interesting bomber of the lineup. The Valtour to the 4050, the SO 4050, which just is it looks like a Thunderjet with training wheels, or a Thunderjet and a B-52 bomber, and it had a small midget French baby named Napoleon.
How cute! He hasn't learned how to get rid of his stabilizer wheels.
Yep. So this thing, 8.0, without offensive armament, very clearly marked, without offensive armament. 682 miles per hour, which is bloody fast for a bomber. 39.7 meters climb rate, so it can go to space. Wide turning time, though at the jet level, that's not particularly bad. And its modification starts with 10 250 kilogram or 250 pound bombs. 10 500 pound bombs. Let's see. 750 pound M117 Cone 45 bombs. That or 6 1,000 pound bombs. 750 pound bombs. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, that's a new bomb entirely. Otherwise, this is gonna be a pretty interesting jet bomber. It's gonna be kind of annoying to catch. I would imagine. I guess only a hunter or a MiG-17 could actually catch this fucker. All things considered, I think this is the first true swept wing bomber in the game to be seen. So the French have that to their name. And the one thing I will say that the French definitely have a lot more locally made aircraft, interesting locally made aircraft in terms of bombers and stuff than the Italians do. Like, before I continue on to the last two top tier vehicles of the French, like if we look at the Italian tree, it's mainly focused on fighters. If we look at the bombers, it's kind of like maybe a couple models, and they're all, as nice as to collect them, it's kind of just lackluster, I guess. But then we, especially like the Italians don't have a top tier 5 jet bomber of any kind. They just have the F-84G, which, a lot of pilots already find extremely annoying to deal with.
It's up at 7.7 now, though.
Yeah, 7.7 now.
There's that.
But then, of course, we had besides the fact that they have their own fuck you and your everything, PB4Y at tier 4 for the Navy. I burped a little bit. I'm sorry. French actually have jet bombers. And now going to the jet bomber, the real jet bomber, the 4050 Valtour 2A, which
Why's the
includes...
A? But that's not alphabetically correct. Oh, whatever.
Shut up, no one cares.
I'm
This one
fucking
is
kidding.
this one is quite literally the oh shit bomber to look out for. 678 miles per hour at sea level, but unlike the previous one, it comes with 4 DIFA cannons, 400 rounds apiece, 30mm cannons. Hunters and MiG-17s, beware. There is a jet bomber that will actually fuck you. The R2Y2 is now challenged.
Do you remember
Challenged.
Do you remember when the IL-28 got introduced and it was killing everything? It's
Yep.
gonna happen again.
Except it's the French. And the Japanese.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Japanese will now have to surrender the flag of most annoying jet bomber to deal with. Even though that the R2Y2s, to be fair, the R2Y2s are the lower tier, but still, if you've played the R2Y2, you'll be very intimately familiar with how to be annoying as fuck in a plane like this. 430mm centerline, twin engine bomber, and a pretty good bomb load. So we're going to be going to its modifications. What?
There's a lot. Again. I'm starting to notice a trend with these things.
The French never cease to surprise me. Holy shit, that is a lot of shit to be dealing with. Okay, I think we found the potential candidate of what plane will break War Thunder. This looks extremely promising for being number 1. Not only is it capable of being a really annoying fighter plane, but it can also just say, fuck you, I can also just drop all your bombs. Wonder what will happen with the Thunder if they do tier 6 aircraft and the Americans get their Thunder Chief. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's going to be great. But even then, this is a beautiful looking aircraft in the air, but it's a little awkward on the ground with the 2 middle landing gear, the center alignment landing gear, and the engine nacelle landing gear. But in the air, this thing is going to be one beautiful bastard. And of course, just like any other French or Italian aircraft, is lovingly labeled on the nose its model number in stylish, like, logo fashion. Because the French just have to do it like that. And God bless them for that. So this is a very interesting looking aircraft right off the bat. Okay, look. Let's see. Looking at it. How are other people going to tell others what plane they're flying? Hacks, iron triggered. Captain Magma, we already looked at the Italian tanks. We'll probably look at them again. I guess we'll do the quick run through. All the baguettes. All zip baguettes on the world.
I heard you like ground forces, hey?
Yep. So, the French tree. A fuck ton more interesting overall across the board than the Italians. The Italians were really interesting for their fighters, but, you know, sure, I had my fun with the G55 guide and just doing playing all the G55s. These are fun aircraft to fly, but oh boy, tier 3 and tier 4 are going to be very interesting on the French side of things, just because I guess the aircraft I'm already eyeing just right off the bat is the glorious VV-10-2. And I guess we're going to have to, I know some of you are there going like, why are there so many prototypes? Why, Gaijin, you know what? Shut up. It's a video game, right? First off, it is a video game. They found enough documents to actually make the aircraft happen in the game and to get a flight model of some kind to work. They'll probably be tweaking the flight models as they usually do once they get player data. But even then, you know, I'm very happy to see some really interesting aircraft beyond the American copy-paste stuff. This will be definitely one to look out for in the skies. You know, if you're dumb enough to go head on with this thing, I'm not liable for what happens after that head on, regardless if you kill the bastard. So that's gonna be fun. Honestly, you could literally change your bindings for this aircraft so that you only fire the 20mm cannons and fire the 50 cals when you actually need to. But that's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, there were documents for the E100. Quite a lot. There's quite a lot of pictures for the E100. Half of the Soviet premiums were built, tested, and the Russians went, "Da, this is a stupid idea. Let's just stick with whatever we're building now." Pragmatism. But going back around, don't know if there's any other aircraft. Let's time to snoop around and see if any new. Well, they do actually slap the, like, you know, yellow band over most aircraft to say, "Hey, this is new. You should check it out." On there. So there is a P-63. I'm assuming that means, did the P-63s get an HD model update?
Which model PC is it? The C5s?
It feels like maybe no.
C5 is what's in the French tree.
Yeah, in French tree, it looks like quite literally a copy paste. Actually, if I'm gonna say like American aircraft that should be in the French tree, where the fuck are the P-36s, Gaijin? Where the fuck are the P-36s? Like, one of the most important American fighters in the French Air Force early on. They had enough of these around, I would imagine, unless they're planning to make them a premium or something. And then, actually, I'm also surprised that the the Yak 3 or a Yak 9 wasn't present in the French tree. Maybe that could be a premium as well, a French Yak 3, which would just be a Yak 3 in the French tree. That's it. But, you know, that's a very important aircraft. Actually, you know, what is it? The Yak 3s actually have a Normandy Niemen camo as well. I actually have that camo. If it will load. There we go. That camo. So, why isn't this not in the tree? But that's maybe a question to be answered by things later on. I guess how many people are on the server right now? 671 people are playing, and I guess this is probably a good time to click the invite button and bring Magnificent Spleedly aboard, and we're gonna just try to play a low tier realistic battle in our derpy French reserve vehicles. Yes.
Am I able to take this? I don't know if I can. Maybe I can take the reserves.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
3 people waiting for battle. And now, while we wait for the battle to commence...
Maybe put on all the other servers.
Good idea.
Because we only have EU on.
Well, shit. That's the only choices we got.
Oh. Alright then.
Hey, battle.
That was a lot quicker than I thought.
Okay, so...
Probably a lot of
French tanks. French tanks. We will discuss... Many miles away might be a better person to discuss French tanks. I'm more of the aircraft guy. Okay, so respawn base, auto, airfield. Oh, I guess auto means is the spawn that you normally would spawn at. So let's bring out our derpy French vehicles. Take to the skies, they say.
Huzzah.
And something sounds different. It feels like everything sounds more right now. Were there changes in the sound engine that I don't know about?
We're against one player. Well, rest in peace him. He's a brave man.
Oh boy, let's see. All aircraft engines sound effect parameters will change when switching to third-person view dependent on view. Okay, enough of that. Okay, I can definitely hear that though. So in the front, you kind of just hear the engine, but then if you rotate it to the rear, it sounds like it actually sounds like you're behind the plane. And what? Man, nothing on this dev server is set up. Man, I suck. So where's my smoke? Tricolor, and if I'm right, before I fuck this up horribly, looking at it, let the
Blue is
smoke.
first. Just
Blue.
before you're gonna ask that.
Yep. There.
There you
Perfect. Just perfect. And damn it, speed. Really?
go. Oh, we took off from the town of Guinness. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. I would imagine, though, that town is pronounced Guinea, not Guinness.
Shut up. It's what I damn say it is.
That's whatever you damn say it is. So, who is our the entire enemy team is an AI. So, okay. I guess. So, we have no real opposition.
Except for that one brave man.
Where?
At the Aldo Wolf. I assume he's not an AI. Oh, he is. That's just a very... Oh, there's a prod wolf as well. Okay, well then we're gonna say yes, whatever.
Yep, that's an interesting name for AIs.
We should maybe see if there's an active custom battle.
Yep, we'll probably jump into active custom battles. Hey, we can probably sneak up on 50 miles away. He's apparently on right now, probably looking at the tanks. It would be a shame if I got an aircraft with bombs on it and bombed him. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. That's a stupid idea. Why would I do that?
No, that's my job.
That's your shtick is to join him in whatever match he is in when he's playing Russians or something with an RBT-5.
Yes.
And no one can take that away from you. Not even me. Even though I have an RBT-5.
No.
First, we have to deal with
I think I made enough videos on
it's
it to trademark the RBT-5.
Edie's dead. The German is dead. And Jean-Pierre has survived. Come back here. I've heard you were making jokes about white flags. Get the fuck out of my sky. Hello, sir. Eat 4. Eat my 7.5s. Eat it. Were you making jokes about white flag? Ha! Oh, hey, wait.
Oh my, I've got one on the tail.
Oh no. Well, one thing's definitely for sure. These planes definitely feel like they'll outperform the they pretty much they may not be tightly maneuverable. Oh gee.
Oh, I'm running low on ammo.
Holy shit, that guy exploded. He legitimately just went boom.
Look, you got one on your tail.
Nope. Is this like World War One again? Is this the best? What is this now? It's turned into World War One now. We're just flying over like Passchendaele or something. It's Bloody April, I think.
Oh my, Justin, no!
Get out of my sky, Fritz!
I'm out of ammo, I don't know what to do.
Go back to the airbase, grab more ammo, soak the white flag that you found on some Fritz in his blood, and then come back to the fight.
Okay, first of all I have to do what the army code states you should do when leaving a fight, and that's update your tricolor. Please don't hurt me, I'm retreating!
Retreat! And apparently I'm out of smoke. But I think the one thing that this aircraft does have an advantage, it is faster than most of the biplanes at its tier, so it will just kind of, you know, for an aircraft of this type, it's just gonna kind of fuck off. Which is good. The only aircraft I can really see challenging the French at this tier would probably be the Italian biplanes. And those those guys will definitely give a challenge just because they have better armament overall.
And then the 22mm one comes in.
Yep, the 20mm comes in, but then it wastes all its rounds trying to hit one of the Italians. It misses because the pilot was drunk as fuck on wine and what's the other famous French liquor or alcohol substance? It's on the tip of my
wine.
tongue. No, it's
And there's
not
more
wine. It's anyone out there? What is other French alcohol? What is the other one? I know it was just re-legalized in the U.S. in this decade because it was apparently infamous. What is it? Damn it, can't remember. Where the fuck is the airfield? I need to reload. No, of course, we could do some interesting flying now. So, speed, if you stay level and let me catch up with you, I'm gonna just do funny things. Like, air
Alrighty then. I mean, my plane is, you know, listing a little bit. It's a bit damaged.
Catch up with you.
Mightn't go perfectly well.
Nope, nope. I need to be very careful. I can't do that for too long. Okay, let's find the air base. It's over there. Over there. But yeah, for a first combat sortie, this thing feels pretty good. But I think there's one AI left, and he is tangling with the enemy. And the one guy who was on our team apparently died. Right. Absinthe! Yes, there we go. Thank you, Overlord Gurgle Cox. Why? That's a great username. Don't know why. Absinthe, yes. If I remember that story, you know, that was the famous French alcohol, but then the winemakers are like, we want to make wine, famous French alcohol.
Oh.
And they slandered the crap out of Absinthe. Oh, Justin died. And then his son, the famous Emperor Justinian, took over. Wait, this is not extra history. It was Wapple. It was Wapple. Everyone knows it was Wapple.
Everyone.
If there's somebody disliking, well, 2 dislikes. If there's 2 dislikes, the rest of you should drop a like at that point.
Counter.
Countered. Countered.
Counter the. Why do I already have a load of the upgrades for this thing?
Because remember, this is the dev server, and the dev server is, well, spaded. Done. We spaded our first aircraft. What was the aircraft?
And I got Collier's D510. It just gave it to me.
It just gave it to you. Interesting. Oh, then what is the aircraft I'm supposed to be researching? Okay.
I can't research one because I didn't buy any French things yet.
Yeah, but that's why I need to actually go purchase a premium at some point. Either I'm gonna have to buy the low tier just to get by, or you can just go for the normal. Oh, I'll get a rental because I'm a content partner. I can't rental, but I need, if I'm gonna get into the actual researching, I'm probably gonna have to buy the low tier just to, you know, shake it out for the time being. But yeah, that is the French aircraft tree. But before I forget anything, let's kind of now actually look at all of the extra shit that they've changed in the game. Operations for lower ranks. In missions where the runway length was less than 1,200 meters, Original airfields have been replaced by new ones with 1,200 meters of landing and takeoff. So it's easier to take off, land and take off. The accuracy of air defense covering ground targets has been reduced. Certain maps had the ground units reinforced with or changed around so that they're more balanced. Operation Honolulu now has bombing zones, and it is possible to destroy the enemy airfield. Operation U Passage bombing zones have been relocated, and air spawns for bombers are now equally distant from the mission center. Operation Port Moresby, distance between spawns are now similar to that of other low-rank operations. The Allied airfield has been moved. Spawns have been adjusted so that the Allies do not have the superior advantage. And now that I think of it, yeah, the Allies tend to have a fair advantage on Port Moresby a lot of the time in terms of spawning in. Even when the Japs get close enough to them. Even though the Americans and the British will a lot of the time squander that advantage and die. Somehow. We all know that happens. Somehow. Ground vehicle model, damage model, characteristic, and weaponry changes. And again, my source I'm reading from is the ArmoredPatrol.com's article on the dev server patch notes. So FV-102 Striker, RU-251, and T-34-100 smoke screens have been added. The T-114 Bat is now amphibious. Well,
yes!
Well then, I guess we get to test that out today, since that's a premium and I can actually roll into it, though this is going to take a fuck ton of time to get over there, and unfortunately that means I have to, boot you. I'm sorry, I had to leave you. We have to go to test fight.
Okay.
But, well, of course you're still here in the room, so we can keep looking. Love those pad bombers in the background. Flying barns, spad. Oh, there's just a discussion going on. We will get to the IL-28. The IL-28 has rocket pods. Gaijin, why?
Wait.
No.
Gaijin, what have you done?
No. But of course then,
yes!
I guess on the way to the nearest source of water, fuck him. Serves him right. Fuck him more. Just because we hate you. Die. So we're just gonna make a beeline for the water, and I guess on the way I'm gonna try to kill things. Just things that I feel that.
So what sort of face does your butt have?
I don't have it.
You don't have a face on your butt.
I don't have the bat. I thought I told you. I haven't decided to purchase a premium.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought.
Yep.
Never mind. Okay.
But I guess we will start now. While this tank makes its way to the closest water source, we will start taking in questions. I will start taking in questions from all 46 of you. One at a time. 0.3.7 biplanes. Hashtag GIP. Hush. I don't think they're going to be doing World War I aircraft anytime soon. Plus, there's already a game that features World War I aircraft, and albeit it's not very good, but it's there for you guys. Maybe next April Fools? World War I combat? Just spads a bunch of a few attacker aircraft, and then just all sorts of tanks. Just give me my
bombers' armaments are literally like men with shotguns.
Yep. Bagel Panzer is not a premium. You can have your bagel without paying a premium on it. Well, you just have to make the bagel. By that I mean grind your sweat, blood, and tears. Grinding it, but you can have it. It's in the tree. Anything new for the Soviets other than BMP-1P? No. In terms of things related to the Russians in the tree, according to the patch notes, SU-85, ISU-122, 122C, order of which ammo is used has been corrected. And that's apparently it, I guess, for anything related to the Russians. So this is very heavily, so far, my opinion is that this this patch is definitely very focused on the French. There isn't actually very many allied aircraft, surprisingly enough, at least in this version of the dev server. If they add more stuff and they do another dev server, then I guess we'll have to do dev server 1.73 Electric Boogaloo later on. Hopefully not. I know how the last one went. Let's see. So other patch notes. The Chieftain Mark 3, 5, and 10. Rate of fire has been increased from 7.8 to 8 shots per minute. M4A2, incorrect magnification value has been corrected. The MBT 70 and Compounder 70. Heat FSL mass has been reduced from 22 to 18.9 kilograms. Smoke shell mass has been lowered to the same. BTR 52A is listed currently in the game as an SPG instead of an SPAA for some reason. Besides the Russian tanks, the Panzer IV-H, Tiger H-1E, the heavy tank number 6, M4, M4, 748A, M4A1, M4A2, and Calliope, those also had their ammo order changed. The M4A2 now carries 90 rounds instead of 97 rounds. Available smoke shells, smoke grenades for the M24 Chaffee have been increased from 6 to 14. Panther 2 has been made fatter. Now it weighs 53 tons for some reason. Smoke grenades have been increased from 6 to 12 in the Panzer 470A. Smoke grenades have been increased from 6 to 12 on Tiger 2s and the Jagdtiger. The Jagdpanther and the Jagdpanther now has 30 smoke grenades. What the fuck? Why does it have 30 smoke grenades? M4A5 baffle plate has been added to the engine compartment. A1E1 independent AP round speed has been reduced from 580 meters per second to 563 meters per second. Explosives types has been changed from TNT to Melanite with a source from Tank Training Volume 2. And then the maximum speed of the Chieftain has been increased to 48 kilometers per hour. Chieftain Mark 5. And now time for, after all that crap reading. Oh, did I miss a fighter jet somewhere? Shit, I may have. Fuck, I got so distracted. But now let's check this. Hey, it floats! It's so adorable. Oh, how cute. Cover this fucker in bushes and just hide in a river and see if anybody will notice you.
But I can't cover mine in bushes. People won't see the beautiful face.
Yep.
As it floats majestically in the water.
This is derpy looking.
Well, it's not a not derpy vehicle.
Let's see. It's incapable of going backwards, so I have to actually... So, okay, and of course, an obligatory question if we're going to be trying to make this vehicle go in the water. Can we use the gun to make this thing go faster? Obviously not, because it's a recoilless cannon.
Yeah, kind of in the name there.
Please test out the Big Light Panzer and drive it for us. Tell us how it performs. I will absolutely... I'm gonna honestly say I can't really say I can, because I don't think I could get to the bottom of the tree with the amount of golden eagles I got. Where is it? But I will say that, what is it, many miles away will probably be your source to really see what this guy can do, because he is definitely the tank man. I'm the pilot. I'm the pilot boy. I'm pilot man. Greatest pilot man. And of course, I completely forgot about the top tier French jet fighter. Like a retard.
It's all been. Well, that's a disappointing climax, then, isn't it?
Yep. Kind of forgot about it. But it's the MD4522A, which is slightly faster and just has the same armament.
It's a saber.
I guess.
Well, not exactly, but it looks like one.
It's a MiG saber. Saber MiG. So the Saber MiG, I guess, is what we're going to call that for now. Congratulations, you have research default. What the fuck? Game. Okay. But yeah. So that is... Now I've covered that. Okay, so... I heard America got the M4A4. Let's check it out. Where is it? Where is it? What M4A4?
I don't see it.
It would be clearly marked with a giant yellow banner that says, new vehicle, if it was a new vehicle. But we don't see that for now. The British
Does
might
not
have an
appear to be present.
Yep, the British would have an M4A4, but that M4A4 happens to be the, what is it? The Sherman Firefly. Yeah, if anybody hasn't noticed that, yeah, the Sherman Firefly is actually the entry one. It's an M4A4. While the... Okay, that's an interesting bug to report. While the premium Firefly is a standard M4A2. Those poor bastards in the turret.
DMS has a custom battle on.
Let's check it out.
It's got a password. Never mind. There's not actually that many fallish custom battles.
Yeah, there's Maiko's Boons, but he's got a password stuck onto it. The Swedish moderator, Swiss moderator, I'm sorry, if he watches that stream later, I think on Mike's server, has a ground strike mission going on. But other than that, I don't know if there's any other new vehicles.
No.
Let's see. Okay, so aircraft model, damage model, characteristic, and weaponry changes. Focke-Wulf 190A1 for nose-mounted machine guns has 900 rounds of MG ammo. The F4U4s in the American tree have G suits. The R6 modification for the MG151 cannons on the, I guess, BF109Gs have their ammo load corrected to 135 shots per cannon. The XF5F display of info regarding offensive weapons has been corrected. KI-94-2 binding for separate shooting with different caliber weapons has been corrected. D4Y3 order a bomb drop for the 250 kilogram bomb loadout has been corrected. And again, these disclaimer, these are dev server patch notes. What will actually happen on the official patch notes will probably be different in some way, shape, or form when the patch actually drops. Though with the dev server dropping, we can expect within the next 2 weeks or probably less that the dev server, the actual server update will come. So I would say if you want to get into the French tree early, I would suggest grabbing a bundle with the pre-order before they drop. And stuff. Yes. Stuff. So deflection angles for a lot of aircraft have been changed. Secondary armament information has been changed from kilograms to pounds for the G91 and the G91R1. J2M armor. On all the J2Ms, their armor, pilot armor, has been apparently corrected. That's interesting. So, well, whatever armor there is to begin with for the pilot. That's a really annoying bug there that needs to be changed. The possibility of using suspended armament, 2 500-pound bombs, I guess, suspended armament, has been added. For the P-38, I guess that means the ability to carry 500 kilogram or 500-pound bombs on some P-38s. Checking that, I highly doubt it. Okay, for one of the P-38s. J Series P-38. Oh boy. And the... what is it called? I thought I saw something for the P-51 Mustang somewhere. Independence of research on suspended armament research. Something about the ordinance has been corrected. Red colored decals for all nations have been added for ease of use on winter camouflage. Sounds, again, sound types of all aircraft engines have been reworked for higher density and realism. The maximum available sound volume for aircraft engines has been increased. That's why everything is suddenly louder. Cockpit view in an aircraft now demonstrates absorption of external sounds correctly. This depends also on whether the canopy is, if the aircraft has an open canopy or a closed canopy, or you are stupid and you open your canopy mid-flight and it flies away on its own. The sounds for the Chieftain, Comic, Centurion, Cromwell, Valentine engines has been changed for a more authentic effect. Or I guess more authentic sounding, and the T-64 engine has been made more authentic sounding. New game, there is a new game mechanic for ammo racks, for tanks. If you are hitting the ammo rack and you, for some reason, don't magnificently explode into a million pieces, you will lose all the ammo in that rack. And it cannot be damaged again until you roll into a cap point. You will not be able to use the ammo in that rack, and once you roll into a cap point, you will be able to replenish and restore the ammo lost on those ammo racks. But of course, then that means you just become more vulnerable to being ammo racked again. So I guess that little bit of feature for that, and then a major change for for squadron battles. Instead of limited vehicles, they just went with a new schedule of gradual increase in BRs for available vehicles across squadron battles. So there will be a little, I guess, more variety, I suppose, in what you can bring. Though I'm not entirely the squadron battle type of person. The changes I'm reading from are from the armorpatrol.com. I just kind of looked up the first thing I found, but I would imagine by now that there is going to be a 1.73 unofficial patch notes. I could probably post them. Nope, can't find them at all. So just the armorpatrol.com has some kind of patch notes that I'm reading from. And that's basically all I have. I don't think I've missed anything for now. And since this is the first time the dev server has been opened, it's kind of scarce in terms of new stuff other than the French, which is, you know, this is definitely a more beefy and filled out tree than the Italians. So I guess we're going to do a quick highlight reel of interesting aircraft to look at. So we're gonna go back and start looking at the second French bomber, which is another push-pull. This thing, the NC 223.3. It's another push-pull bomber, but then at what 2.0 BR has two 20mm cannons and a 7.5 machine gun as defensive armament, which is hilarious, even though it's really slow. After that, the first time that this aircraft has been in the game, even though it's an American aircraft, the Volti A-35B Vengeance dive bomber, which is very interesting into itself, very well armed for what it is, 650 caliber machine guns in a gloriously vomit green colored camouflage. The M60A2 came in at least like 2 patches ago. Yeah. Next up for the more interesting for the French is a 4-engine bomber with a giant harpoon in the front of it with 220. It's literally a midget G5N or G8N1 bomber. Or the moldy, as I think somebody quoted it, a moldy Focke-Wulf 200, though I could say that this thing has better rear defensive armament than the Focke-Wulf 200. However, this thing is totally fucked if it gets head-on attacked. So I would imagine fighter escort is very important with your French bombers. A lot of these aircraft are in the middle tree, essentially, unless you really want to go for the super Basil Oregano mobile jet fighter and the 84. This is a lot of the middle tree is American aircraft, and the tier 4 bomber is American. However, the most interesting fighter for tier 4 French is the VB-10C1, which just has 4 20mm cannons, 373 miles per hour at sea level. Pretty good aircraft already. Pretty good climb rate. However, if you just really need to fuck over somebody, we got this baby. The VB-1002 with, let's just fuck it. Let's just add 6 more 50 cals and be done with it. And it is not a contra-rotating propeller with a single engine. It's a contra-rotating propeller with 2 engines in it. So it's big. It's not the fastest thing in the sky, but it has a damned good climb rate and will probably kill you. Absolutely will kill you. Yep, the whole reproduction is in the game. The interwar French bombers are going to be nice. And of course, I guess I will end the stream off with the aircraft that we looked at in the that's in the thumbnail of this video or of this stream. We'll be ending off here with basically the top tier French jet. Not even the French fighter. This thing is basically a fighter. This is a strike fighter, not even a bomber, in my opinion. The SO 4050 Valtour 2A. And again,
the beautiful
600 beautiful 4 DIFA cannons with 400 rounds of ammo, so 100 rounds per gun. 678 miles per hour, 41.1 meters per second climb rate. Let's directly compare it with its contemporary, which would be the Hunter F1, 679 miles per hour with an equally good climb rate. Aiding cannons, but of course it's just a dedicated fighter, kind of big as well. In the same amount of space that we have here in the Hunter. Though I have heard some people say that the size of the model for the Hunter is incorrect. Can't confirm. Not right now, at least. And then we have its communist competitor, which is not that as good. 660 miles per hour. 39.1 meter climb rate with arguably effective armament in the MiG-17. But, of course, then we just go back to this thing, which is arguably going to be one hell of a bastard to deal with, because it's a twin engine bomber but it has capability. It has the capability of being a fighter, a damned good fighter, possibly. How well it will actually do in combat, once it drops its payload. It's extremely widely varying payload of everything you could possibly grab. But I guess that's to be seen. Hopefully I will probably end up actually ordering one of the packages myself just because I really want it. And if you guys want to keep if you guys want to help me out to actually get to a point with my content creator status where I can actually just ask for vehicles to be unlocked in Golden Eagles, share my channel, share the videos. Again, the next guide video in the series that will be coming out hopefully soon be the Messerschmitt 262. And I think that's about it for the French. I don't think I've missed anything.
No, that's it all. I was just going through the list there. You got everything.
Yep, I covered everything. So my name is John, and and with me is the Magnificent Speed, and I will catch all of you later. Leave a like, and if you have friends who like really derpy guide videos, share my channel. Help me out with the subscriptions, and I will actually have information about doing Patreon stuff soon. Probably after the 262 video comes out, I'll be talking about that in the next chat video. So this has been John, and we are going to be done. If I can find the stop button. There we go. Found the stop button. Bye, guys.
So long.